Question one is, what were you struggling with before working together? Keep in mind that I'm referring to before we worked together for the very first time when you booked your messaging and content clarity scan service before you launched your group program. So, what were you struggling with before we worked together, and how did that make you feel? Feel free to word vomit however you were feeling and what you were thinking at that time. Tell me everything.
I feel like I was struggling with every damn thing. I was inconsistent in sales. I didn't know, I was inconsistent in sales, and I think I was like all over the place with who I was communicating with. And I didn't realize that I wasn't actually taking my business seriously because when you went over like and went and looked at like my website and all my back end stuff, that shit was so disconnected and convoluted. So for me, I think I was really struggling with having a strong foundation. Like I knew how to, build engagement on, social media, and I knew how to teach what I know. And I knew, but I had a website, I had bits and pieces, but it was like a fucking a mismatch quilt. And I didn't understand, I didn't have a flow of things. My funnels was going to dead pages, and what if I was losing people along the way. So of course I'm not going to have a consistent sale if the person jumps on the train at stop 1 and the sale is at stop 4, but I never even had a place for them to transition or anything like that. So I think that was the biggest struggle for me when we first started working together. Oh, and how did it make me feel? It made me feel overwhelmed and like I was never going to get there. It was like I was just spinning my fucking wheels. I was tired. I was exhausted. And it felt like just too much.
Question two is, what was your experience like working with me in the content clarity scan service? If you can recall, we had our initial 3-hour call because you got messaging. That's part of the service that you paid for at the time, and the content clarity scan, which was me like doing the audit of your content and all of your your website and all of those things. And I gave you the content strategy. That's when you decided to go with YouTube for your podcast. Like, we made all of those decisions so long ago. We talked about you launching the group program. Because I did the audit on your website, remember, you made edits to your website because you paid for messaging. You had the messaging and information to, update the things on your website. And what to say about your offer. At the time, you were doing a wait list. At the time, you had not been doing your podcast as a video podcast or doing it on YouTube yet. And I think you were doing your episodes pretty consistently. You just weren't really hyping it up the way that you do it now. So you didn't have that team yet. Support, if you can recall, was via Voxer. The delivery of things was that I gave you the sales email outlines to launch it to your email list. You originally set your first goal to get 11 people in, or no, not 11. I think you wanted to get like 10 to 15 people the first time. I know that you got 11, I believe, the very first time. The second time, you weren't working with me, but you told me that your goal was 25. You mentioned it to me on my Instagram when I had posted about how proud I was of you hitting your goal the first time. You said, I want to double my goal and I want to hit 25 the next time. And I know that you ended up getting 32 people. And you said you've launched it 2 more times, I think, since then. So please just share, what your experience was like working with me back then, now that I'm kind of reminding you of kind of all the things that we actually did at the time, because I know it just was so long ago. And this is just from the perspective of you originally working with me, not this time, because this time just happened.
Girl, we did a lot of shit, child. Okay. And it seems like the time has really flown by. So I think that when people want to be a coach right? They think, oh, I know how to do this thing. I can just show people how to do it. That is not the same thing as having a coaching business, right? And there are lots of facets to having a coaching business. And really, you don't have a business if you don't know how to consistently and systematically get people to come and purchase from you. That was my problem. I know my shit, but getting people to consistently come and have a system of them coming in, I did not have any of that. And you are excellent at it's like taking a ball of yarn and organizing that yarn into strands where you can easily see it, digest it, and create something from it. You're a great teacher, and you explain things in a way that makes sense to me, and so I can take action on them. And you're also a really great example because I can see you doing all the things in your business that you were telling me to do. Like I can see you. I'm like, okay, she's telling me to do it, and if I watch her, that's what it fucking looks like. And then I can see, the impact of that, right? So working with you was just like I was like a blind person. So you was like an emotional support coach and get your ass out there and do it and homegirl all at the same time. I hope that is answering the question. There can be so much anxiety in this process, and like I said before, so much overwhelm, and you help dispel the anxiety and the overwhelm so I can be more productive and getting these back end things done. Because I think the back end stuff is like the stuff you really don't want to fucking do because you want to focus on the coaching. You want to do the fun stuff. But you lay such a good map out for how to get this stuff done. It's like you just go ahead and get it done. It'll be done. You won't have to do it again. So my experience was overwhelmingly positive. And you're a creative, but I feel like you're also a very strategic, logical person. And I'm a systems person, and it's easy for me to do it for other people, but hard to do it for myself. So you just helped me tremendously in that. I hope that answers the question.
And the final question is, what results have you achieved since or from working with me? And obviously, don't just share the great results of all your launches, but please do share all of the launches that have happened since we worked together, because I actually didn't know until you told me when you worked with me this time that you did multiple launches, because obviously you were sharing more with me at the time, mostly probably because we were, checking in so much because you were probably excited because it was brand new. I didn't know you launched more since then because I would have loved to have just been celebrating, even just knowing. A lot of my clients will just kind of tell me randomly when things are happening because I don't know, sometimes they're just shocked that it's still going on. And sometimes they're just excited. Like, can you believe this is still working? So I had no idea. So if you can share those things with me, share. Because if you can recall, in Voxer, we talked about the structure of how you would even run the group program, because you asked how I was doing mine and how I did mine in the beginning when I was doing it live versus how I ended up doing it when I ended up having the curriculum pre-recorded. Like, we talked a lot about structure via Voxer. Like, we covered a lot in the 2 weeks that you had Voxer support. Like, you asked excellent questions. I feel like we had a really great working relationship where I was just really rawly sharing with you my experiences coming from where you were starting from, creating your first group program. If you can recall, we also talked about you doing the membership in the future and what that would look like. And I said, all you need to do is run a few rounds of this. And how does it feel? Like what results have you gotten? And think about all of those things, not just the launches that you did originally from wanting to create that group program, but the fact that since then you were able to get enough people running through it that you are able to think about and start working on your membership. and your confidence in yourself with launching, because when you started working with me, you told me you had never really officially done launching. You weren't really selling from your content, and now you are. Share all the wins of you putting together your curriculum and actually seeing it play out, because I don't hear that from you. So I'm sure people would love to hear, I would love to hear it too, how it feels to see yourself do something that you said you've had as a goal for a long time. So share all of those types of things, like your confidence level in yourself as a business owner, as a coach, as someone who's launching, with your marketing, with your content. I'd love to hear all of those perspectives. Whatever comes to mind, share those things with me.
Let me get the hard details out of the way first. I don't mean hard as in difficult, but just like the, concrete stuff, because I just did the math. So I have launched 4 times since we talked, and that has accounted for a gross revenue of about $46,000 and 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm trying to count up how many students. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 92 students. That's almost 100 students and $46,000. I guess we're in March now, and I think we worked together March of last year. So over the last year, this is the most amount of money I've ever made in my business. Ever, fucking ever. I don't think I've ever really made money in my business. I might have made like $200 or $300 somewhere, but really to make real money, this was real money. What has this, I feel like I'm about to cry. What has this done for my confidence? Even though I know my shit and I can come off as very confident, I never felt like an authority. I never thought people would listen to me. I never thought people would believe me. I never thought that people would really hear me talking about the Black mother wound, a topic that ain't nobody really talking about. Nobody wants to talk about. It's hard to talk about. And they would be like, I'm going to pay her some money to get better at this. It's extremely validating, not only with the work that I'm doing, because I deeply believe in it, even when it's hard, but also it gave me confidence, because I don't think I even had it and I still struggle. But it not only gave me the confidence around the work, but gave me like, I can put something structured together. And I think what you helped me do was kind of show me how to take it like a small piece of it and build on it each time. Like, take your time. It doesn't have to be all finished and be the, world's greatest the first go round. Like, do it once, do it again. And consistency is very difficult for me. Because I think if I don't do it right the first time, I shouldn't do it. And I never repeat things. Like, I do it once and I move on to something else. So you help me also stay focused on one product, one service, and make that service better over time versus jumping around and trying a lot of different shit, which I think service providers and coaches definitely get stuck in that. It's like, no, this is your thing. Keep nailing it down. And on the 4th go round, I raised the price. Maybe I raised the price on the 3rd time. I think I raised the price on the 3rd go round, but the price was $450. I raised the price to $750. And now I'm going to run it in April, just to show you the progress. This time I'm going to run it in April. It's going to be $997, and that is going to be the last live call. And after that, it's going to be a digital download. And I had that in my mind, but you helped me stay on track. Even after we had stopped working together, you did such a great job of helping me. I feel like it's like we laid these train tracks, and the train tracks were laid so well, it made it easier for me to stay on that track and not get on another track. There was no other track compared to this one. And it makes me feel like, I can be a real business owner and What else do I have here? Okay, so that's with the coaching, the podcast. Again, I had it in my mind to do it, but you really, again, laying another train track to get onto YouTube changed the fucking game as well. Because I know so many people came to Resolve through the YouTube channel. And I think when I started YouTube, I had like 1,500 subscribers. Now I have over 20,000 subscribers. I'm monetized on YouTube. Now I'm not making a lot on YouTube, but just the point that that is there. And there's just so many ways I didn't believe in myself. And I'm, like I said before, I still really do have to be honest. I still struggle with believing in myself, even with a lot of evidence. But if you wouldn't have laid the path for the YouTube channel, I wouldn't even be doing that. And like I was not being consistent before us. After we talked, I got the team involved. I started, I just got my shit serious, right? And you were an archetype in that. So I feel confident. I feel self-assured. I feel that I'm laying a good foundation for a business that I can scale and that I can grow. As long as I stick with the foundational pieces, which I think from you are like getting organized, keeping your ducks in a row, and getting that back end stuff in order, because that is the engine that carries people on through. And then I don't have to work so hard with getting the people because the track is laid, they're on the train is running smoothly, because the funnels are set up correctly. So yes. Thank you.